The first thing I teach every dog, regardless of their age, puppy or senior, which is my marker word. If you're familiar with clicker training, it's similar to that. It communicates to our dog in a speed in which they learn, which is in less than a second. So what I mean by that is I use the marker word yes. And my dogs know, look at Marlo, she came right over. Good girl. You see the positive association. She knows that when I say that marker word, which is YES for me, it's followed by a treat. And yes, over time, you can phase this out. Before I show how to teach that, I want to explain what this pup drill is. It's where I take 5 basic cues, tricks, or commands, and I work on them for 2 minutes at a time. Over time, I might increase that to 3 minutes or 5 minutes at a time. Let's load or charge our marker cue. And every dog, in my opinion, needs to know this. So my dog doesn't have to be doing anything when I first start. What I'm doing is I'm adding a positive association behind the word. Yes, treat. The treat needs to come as I'm finishing saying the word yes, like within a half a second of saying the word yes, and then treat. I will share towards the end what treats I use and love because I'm very picky. Yes. Do that about 10 times, and you can do this during mealtime. That's a pro tip, is working with your dog during mealtime so you don't always have to be using treats. Yes. Good girl. Another one I like to work on is weave. This is a really, really fun one. And in part 1 of this video, I teach you how to do Marlo, middle. Yes, good girl, good job. And teaching this will make teaching weave much easier in my experience, as well as teaching the TOUCH cue. Marlo, touch. Yes, good girl. And the way that we're working on the weave, which is weaving in and out of my legs, over here, is I want her to go on the inside, so I'll do yes. So you see how she's going towards my hand, and I will slow in the treat, but you can kind of get the point there. And then I do the next one where I come forward, put my hand here. Yes, good girl. And this is why that marker QYS is so important, because it's doubly reinforcing this position, because that can be a little nerve-wracking for dogs who aren't used to going in and under things. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. And you see on that time, I only gave her a treat on the second YES. This is because I have really loaded that word, so I try to phase it out and do a treat every other time, every third time sometimes, but in the very beginning, I always, and I'm talking like the first 1,000 times I do the YES cue, I always follow it up within a half a second with a treat or something of high value. Remember, we want our dogs to be successful on these cues and these tricks at least 8, 9 times out of 10. If they're not, that doesn't mean that you're doing a bad job or that they're not smart. It just means you need to slow down and go back a step. Now let's talk about the hand TOUCH cue, which is top 5 training cues for me. All of this I start, by the way, with dogs, whether they're a 8-week-old puppy or a 13-year-old senior dog like my Labrador. And the TOUCH command is where I want my dog, no matter what they're doing, to put their nose to my hand. Touch. Yes, good job. This is such an easy cue to teach because all you have to do is, in the very beginning, hold your hand just outside of their nose and wait. Don't say anything, don't lure them. And as soon as they put their nose to your hand, you mark that with your marker cue that you've been practicing, which is yes, or some people say yep or okay. So to start, you just put your hand here, yes. Now it's okay if it takes your dog a while to put their nose to your hand. That's okay. She's been practicing this, so she kind of gets it, but I'm not even asking for the cue. Yes. And then over time, you can go a little further out. Yes, there we go. Good job. And I don't add the word TOUCH to it until she really starts offering it just with the hand motion. If you do this for only 10 minutes every day, I promise your dog can be completely transformed with their behavior and stopping a lot of, if not all of those unwanted behaviors you're struggling with. Please excuse this interruption, but Marlo and I are editing this video and just got 2 packages in the mail, so I can't wait to unbox these. Especially because, as you can see here, Marlo has been on crate rest this week, meaning she can't be super active, and the poor girl is so bored. So I definitely want to open her Bark Box, which is the more traditional plush toys with a different theme every month. Big shout out to Bark for sponsoring this part of the video. And then her Super Chewer, which are the more super durable toys. The theme this month is Bark and Grill, which I think is adorable. She did have major surgery. She's fine. She's excited. She's just bored. If you have questions about that, leave the comments and I'm happy to talk about her spay. But I have to show these off because almost every single time we get one of these monthly toy subscription boxes, they come with an enrichment toy, something for mental stimulation. And look at this. I am not disappointed yet again. They gave a zoom in onion, and with this is like a mini little snuffle mat, meaning that I could put, if you feed kibble, you could put kibble in here or some of your dog's favorite treats, and then you could put the kibble or the food down in these little fabric pieces, and they have to sniff, dig, and forage them out. Ah, Flame Fajitas. I like that it has, look at her, I like that it has different crunchies, and what's cool about this one, Marlo, can you sit? Oh, we're gonna down, is it has a little handle. So I could play, theoretically, Mama, Mama, ooh, oh, I could play a little bit of tug, which is something we could do without her overexerting herself too much. And then, of course, because you know we have multiple dogs, I get the Super Chewer boxes. These are just a little bit more durable toys. And I love this one because this is the Funyun Tower. And when you bounce and play fetch with this, it bounces erratically because of the sides. Or I'll spread peanut butter on here for an enrichment toy. So a lot of fun options for this. Like for this Super Chewer one, if they're even able to shred this hard material off, there's another little hard rubber toy on the inside. So it's like it helps extend their toy. And then for those dogs that love tug of war, which is a game I like to play with my dogs safely, this would be a great tug of war toy. There is a special offer exclusively for my community. I'll put that in the description below. I've been getting Bark Boxes and Super Chewer boxes for years at this point because my dogs love toys. And you know what? So do I. It's important that they get daily or at least very regular grooming, and I want her to be comfortable with it. She wasn't groomed for the first 6 months of her life, so you see how she's kind of nervous. If you have a jumpy dog like this is a good practice. What I'm going to do is, you saw how I turned away, so what she's doing is kind of demanding behavior because she's a little nervous. She doesn't like the brush. So if you have a dog that's jumping at that, I'm going to get rid of that. And yes, I'm going to reward her for being down. If they continue to jump, I might get down here. Yes, and just praise them for having all fours on the floor. If I need to, I'm going to remove us from the situation. So that's a little pro tip. So what I do in the beginning is I just let her sniff it, give her food and treats while she's sniffing it, and I don't ask anything of her, and that's it. Do that for a minute or two and put it away. Practice and building up to getting her used to having her ears touched, her teeth looked at, yes, go girl, her back end kind of touched a little bit, her belly touched, and of course, always be careful with every dog and make sure you're watching for body language. Now I'm going to show you how I teach Leave It, which is a life-saving, hi baby, life-saving command. And if you're having fun with us today, make sure you click subscribe down below for daily dog tips on this channel. So what I'm going to do with Leave It is actually pretty simple, but this is so important because one day, I promise, you're going to be on a walk and there's going to be something that your dog wants that you don't want them to get. Or you're going to drop some maybe aspirin on the floor and you're going to want to tell your dog to leave it and make sure that they not only not go for it, but that they back up and they know that they can never get it. And the way that I'm starting this training with her is I have two different treats. One hand, I have, and I'll talk about my favorite treats in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. Oh, we're gonna ignore that behavior. So one hand, I have some treats that she can have. In my right hand is a treat that she cannot have and she will never get. This is very, 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 very important. So again, this is the treat that she cannot have. These are the treats that she can. All I'm gonna do is in the beginning, I'm not even gonna say a word. I'm gonna hold my hand, fist closed here. Yes, as soon as she kind of looked away for 2 seconds, I mark that with my verbal cue, yes, and then I give her a treat. Notice where I give her the treat that she can have from this hand. Yeah, yes, she looked away, so we'll count that. I was just too slow, which is okay. We don't have to be perfect. We just want to do our best to be as consistent as possible. Yes, there we go. So see how she looked at it and then looked away? That's what I'm looking for. Yes, good girl. See how she didn't go towards it? And notice I'm giving her the treat that she can have away from this one. I want her to learn that good things happen when she moves away from the leave it one. Now, I'm not going to continue this while she puts her paw on me like this. If your dog does this, she's not in a bad way, but she's demanding. She wants the treat. She wants to work. Then when she gets more consistent with it, we can add the cue. Leave it. Yes. And I keep my hand closed because she can never get this treat. Leave it. Yes, good girl. Yes. So we're going to end on that good note. Then with this treat, I give it to one of my other dogs. I never let her, I never let her have it. Now this next drill can help with jumping, barking, chewing, and even counter surfing. And I have a special guest, which is my Fluffle. So if you're not familiar, it's not sponsored, but this is a human-sized dog bed that I just got. I'm 5'5", and I can fit in the whole dang thing, huh, Marlo? This is where I lay and either take power naps or I edit my TikToks and Instagram. Make sure you're following me there if you're not, at RachelFusaro. But I'm gonna use this as her place bed, and basically place is where we tell our dog to go to their spot. And the only rules is that they have to have at least 3 paws on it at all times, but they can do pretty much anything that they want on there as long as there's no barking, whining, excessive jumping, or going crazy, and they can't get off until we release them. I use this when people come over and I want my dogs to be in one spot so they're not jumping all over everyone. If I'm cooking a meal and I don't want them jumping up on the counter, one thing you could do is put them in a place. If we're out walking and trail gets really busy and my dog gets nervous with people, I can have them jump up on a bench and tell them to place, and they know that they need to stay and wait there. So step 1 is I want them to get on the item without me really luring them on. Yes, good girl, that was quick. And all I did there was walk by it, and I'm going to continue to reward her as she stays on the place bed, which is the Fluffle, which I'm obsessed with. It will be linked in my description below if you want to check one out just in case. And I'll do similar activities as when I'm teaching stay, which I have a video link below, yes, on how I do that. And what she's learning is that, oh, when mom walks away, yes, and I don't go anywhere and I stay here, good things happen. Yes. And it's not until she really starts to seem to get it, which it looks like she is, that I will add a verbal cue to it. Good girl. Now, if they jump off like that, that just means that I went too fast, too long, and that's okay, though we do want to avoid that. So I don't reprimand, I don't give her a treat, and I don't even repeat any cues. I just get back over here and wait for her to get back on. She's just laying here like, hello, you pushed me too much and now I'm gonna make it difficult, but this is what we're doing. So I'm just gonna kind of wait. I'm not even really, yes. Okay. Now you notice there, I did not give her a treat even though she went back on the bed. And that's because I don't want her to learn that if she gets off, then I come back, which usually is a reward, and then give her a treat. Like, I don't want to create that. So what I'm gonna do is do one step away to kind of reset. Yes, because now she's kind of forgotten what happened and we're just on to the next thing, which is making sure she's always successful. Yes, we want to make the place mat or the place bed Disneyland. The way that you do that is anytime they go on or around it in the beginning, you reward like crazy. Now, as promised, my favorite treats will be linked down below. Today, I was using the Dr. Becker Bites liver treats that just have some liver and ginseng. I like them because they're limited ingredients, and you know how picky I am when it comes to treats and food for my dogs because, in my opinion, most of them out there are pretty crummy and it's so hard to find a good treat anymore. So I do have that list down below and I do update it frequently, so make sure you check that out. If you want to know more cues that I'm training, for example, Marla, middle, yes, I will have that video linked down below, or you can click right here to get there. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. And if you want to see my favorite foods, click here, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.